back to my channel. I am back with another review, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. A lot went down in this episode, so let's just get right into this review. So at the very beginning of this episode, Evelyn ends up inviting Jackie out for drinks, and Jackie ends up bringing up Clayanna. Jackie said that she feels bad for Clayanna because of what happened at the strip club in the previous episode, but Evelyn says that she doesn't feel bad for Clayanna at all. In fact, she said that she feels like Clayanna doesn't fit in with the group and that she doesn't want anything to do with her anymore. Now, I kind of agree with Evelyn with the fact that Clayanna doesn't really fit in with the group. She gets too defensive, she kind of gets physical a little bit too much, and she's too quick to pop off. And so I don't really feel like she fits in with the group, especially because most of the girls don't want anything to do with her. The only one who actually likes her is Brittany. Everybody else doesn't. Jackie does seem to be willing to give her another chance, but everybody else doesn't want to, so I don't really see the point of Clayanna being on the show. Now, don't get me wrong, I do understand that Evelyn was just doing what anybody would do in that situation, which is to have your friends back, but at the same time, I do think that she needs to acknowledge the fact that Jennifer was the one that started it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Clayanna handled that situation the right way, because she didn't. She's the one that made it escalate into something bigger than what it needed to be. But at the same time, Jennifer needs to realize that if she can dish it, she can take it, and she's the one that started it. Now, even though Evelyn said that she was not willing to give Clayanna another chance, she did say that she's willing to give Vanessa a chance because she does want to get to know her, and she feels like there's a lot of sadness within Vanessa. She feels like the reason why Vanessa is doing the things that she's doing within the group, like investigating Jennifer's boyfriend, is because she has a lot going on in her own marriage, and so she ends up inviting Vanessa to come out for drinks with her and Jackie. And when Vanessa gets there, she starts talking about the fact that her and her husband are trying to work out the issues that they have within their marriage, and that because she took vows, she doesn't want to get a divorce, and she feels like it's best for the children to not grow up in a broken home. Now, I understand that she doesn't want to get a divorce because she didn't get married to get a divorce, but at the same time, if you're not happy in your marriage and you're not being respected in it, why would you want to stay in it? Because it's not good for the children. Despite what a lot of people think, it's not good to stay in a marriage just for the kids, because the kids can sense when you're not happy and when you're really going through something, and it really does affect them. So staying in a marriage because of the children is not a good idea. And then on top of that, I have to wonder if that's really the reason why she wants to stay in the marriage, or if she's just using the children as an excuse to stay because she's the one that really doesn't want to leave. Because a lot of people do say that they're staying in the marriage for the children, but really it's because they're in love with the person and they don't want to leave them and they want to be with them, and that's really the reason why they stay. And so I'm wondering if that's what she's doing. Now, I'm not saying that that's her intentions, but sometimes I do feel like she just really doesn't want to leave because she wants to be with her husband, despite the fact that she said numerous amounts of times that he has stepped out of their marriage. So Evelyn ends up inviting both Jackie and Vanessa to her event for her foundation about domestic violence relationships, and now Vanessa is kind of feeling some type of way because she feels like Evelyn is getting the wrong idea about her marriage, and that's the reason why she's inviting her to this. So because Brittany did not end up showing up to the final brunch in Arizona, Evelyn decides to ask her to meet up because she wants to know why she didn't go. So when Brittany shows up, she ends up telling Evelyn that the reason why she didn't go to the brunch is because she didn't like the way that things played out between Jennifer and Clayanna at the strip club. She feels like Jennifer is the one that started it, and she feels like if Jennifer knows that she's not a fighter, then why would she antagonize Clayanna, who she knows is a fighter and who she knows is quick to pop off, and think that nothing was going to happen? And I actually agree with Brittany on this particular situation, because I do feel like Jennifer should not have done what she did to Clayanna to set her off. Now, do I think that Clayanna had to react the way that she did by kicking off her shoes and running over to where Jennifer was and standing over her like she was going to hit her? No, because we know that Jennifer is not a fighter, and Jennifer was sitting down during this situation. She wasn't even standing up, so she wasn't really a threat to Clayanna, so I don't feel like she had to react the way that she did. But at the same time, Jennifer wanted problems when she decided to be petty, and she admitted that she was being petty and did it on purpose. But clearly, Brittany and Evelyn are not on the same page when it comes to this situation, because Evelyn was saying that she feels like Jennifer was just being playful and she was just being petty and having a good time, and that Clayanna took things too far. But Brittany just does not agree. She feels like there's a double standard in the group. She feels like the women who have been on the show for a really long time are able to get away with things that the new girls are unable to get away with. And she feels like if you're new and you go against one of the popular women in the group, then everybody will turn against them. And she feels like this is exactly what's happening with Clayanna. Now, I agree with her to a certain extent. I do feel like Clayanna brought a lot of this on herself, but I have seen in past seasons where if one of the new girls go against one of the popular women in the group, everybody will turn against them. So I do agree with her. I just don't feel like that really applies fully to the Clayanna situation. Jelle ends up calling her mother in this episode, and she's praising her mother and telling her how much she loves and appreciates her, because now that she's a mother herself, she can relate to her mom. And I just feel like a lot of people can relate to Jelle when it comes to this particular situation, because a lot of us think that our parents were too hard on us, or that they wasn't there for us when we really needed them to be, or that they just wasn't the best parent that they could be. But then we realize when we become parents ourselves that they were doing the best that they could. Now, I'm not saying that that's everybody's situation, because some people had very terrible parents growing up, or terrible people who raised them when they were growing up. And so I'm not talking about them, but I'm talking about the people who just had little bits of resentment for their parents because they felt like they were too hard on them, or that they wasn't there for them when they needed them to be. So I feel like Jelle is doing the right thing. I feel like she's moving forward with her mother, and a lot of good things are happening to her right now. I actually really do like Jelle. I feel like she's real. And business is going really good for her, because in this episode, she was able to get her products sold in a store in LA. So I think that she's doing really good for herself. Now, Lavonne is in town and he's visiting Evelyn, and Evelyn says that even though she pushed back the wedding, they're still together and they still love each other. And she basically ends up telling Lavonne that she wants to go on a double date with Jennifer and her boyfriend. Which, side note, Jennifer and Christian had an engagement celebration that I saw on Instagram last night. And although I do think that there's some red flags with Christian, it's Jennifer's life, and if she's happy, I'm happy for her. Now, Brittany actually ends up going on a date in this episode as well, but the guy is too young. He's literally 24, like he's even younger than me. And so she decided that she wasn't going to take him seriously because he's younger than her ex-husband at this point. I do think that it's good that she's dating though, because she doesn't have to take anybody seriously or get into a relationship, but dating around is good because you get to find out what you like and what you don't like, and what you want and what you don't want. So I think it's okay for her to put herself out there and date people, but I do think that she needs to be with somebody a little bit more age appropriate. Now, that's my opinion. Some people don't care about age differences, but I do think that they matter in some cases. It's the night of the double date with Jennifer, Christian, Evelyn, and Lavonne, and Evelyn wants Jennifer to meet Lavonne because she wants to get an honest opinion about what she thinks of him. And I'm sorry to say this, but Jennifer is very pretty, but I don't think that she has the best track record when it comes to picking men. So I don't know if she's the right person to try to give an honest opinion about Lavonne. I mean, she can tell what she thinks, but I don't think that Evelyn should really take her opinion that seriously. I mean, Evelyn does seem to think that Lavonne is a good guy, but to me, she doesn't seem like she's really that into him. Like, she doesn't seem like she really wants to be with him. I will say that it's good that she didn't go through with getting married to him, because it doesn't feel right to do it if you're having doubts. Like, I think that it would have ended up in divorce had they would have decided to get married. But I do think that Evelyn needs to change the type of men that she goes for, because if she keeps going for the same type of guy, she's going to end up in the same situation. Now, to me, Lavonne doesn't seem like any of the guys that she's dated that we know about, but we don't know him behind closed doors. But I am saying that Evelyn needs to open up her options a little bit and try something different. So it's the night of Evelyn's event, and she invites everybody to come, and everybody does end up showing up except for Clayanna, because she was not invited, and Brooke doesn't come either. I think she had other things that she had to do at the moment. But I do like the way that Evelyn had this whole thing set up. She had it set up very small and intimate. It was like a sister circle, like a group therapy session. And so I think that Evelyn did a good job setting this whole thing up. Evelyn ends up opening up about how she was a very young mom and that she dealt with a lot of men telling her that she wasn't going to amount to anything. She talked about the DV experiences that she's had in the past, and she gets very emotional. I'm glad that she's opening up, because a lot of people who have dealt with DV don't say anything. Jennifer ends up opening up as well, and she talks about the verbal and mental abuse that she's dealt with. She did get a drink thrown in her face by a guy that she was with. I think that was her husband at the time, and it was on this show, and they actually ended up showing the clip in this episode. Brittany also ended up saying that she dealt with some verbal abuse and that it slowly started getting physical. And that's what happens too. Sometimes it doesn't start off with getting physical right away. It starts off with little things like picking on you and then kind of trying to test you and then starting to become verbally abusive, and then it starts to turn physical. So I do think that it's good that Brittany opened up about that. Now, Vanessa was the last person to open up in this episode, and she talked about all the scary experiences that she's had with DV situations. She did say that it wasn't with her husband, it was with men who she was with before him. She did say that she had 3 near-death experiences, and so I feel like there's a lot that Vanessa is holding in and a lot of things that she hasn't healed from. So I do think that this whole setup was good for her. I think she needed it the most. I just do hope that Vanessa at some point realizes that her happiness does matter and that she needs to put herself first, and that if she's not happy in her marriage, she needs to end it. I know that she doesn't want to end it because she doesn't want her children to grow up in a broken home, but at the end of the day, she doesn't deserve to live her life miserable. So if she can't work things out with her husband and become happy, then she needs to end it. But at the end of the day, it's up to her and she has to do what's best for herself. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Basketball Wives LA. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.